Are loved ones really gone after they die? Hi, my name is Lindsay, and I believe that even when we lose our loved ones, they will always be with us. It is always hard for us to cope with the death of someone we care about, but as we grieve, we can come to realize that even when someone has left this earth, their memories and their love can stay with us. This was a difficult lesson for me. It took me many years to come to terms with my first loss and to find a healthy way to cope with it. When my sister and I were 2 and my big brother was 7, my father died. My father succumbed to a disease that he'd been fighting since he was a child. But it was an invisible disease that many people didn't know he had. So his death was a terrible shock to everyone. As a 2-year-old, I wasn't really able to understand what it meant that my father was dead. But as I grew older, the reality set in. All the other kids seemed to have fathers. Sometimes they even complained about how annoying their fathers were. I envied them. I would have given anything to be annoyed by my father. I wanted to be able to chat with him about homework and friends, play basketball with him, and go on adventures at the camping grounds with him. Sometimes people also told me that I was lucky because I didn't remember him, and that his death was probably much harder for my brother because Grant actually knew my father. I accepted these statements as true, not questioning the logic that minimized my own loss, even though these dismissive words hurt me. Later, thanks to my mom, I realized it wasn't fair for people to compare my grief with my brother's. We had both lost him, and we both felt it in our own way. In lower school, sometimes I would wake up in the middle of the night with a physical pain inside of me, because all I wanted was my father. I wanted a memory, a voice, but mainly I wanted his love. I felt so much anger, sadness, longing, and jealousy, all on a scale far too big for my little body. Since I didn't know how to handle these feelings, I too wanted to escape them, to find a way to make the awful emotions stop. But I didn't know who to talk to or what to do. I was afraid to confide in my family because they had already been through so much, and that left me feeling very alone. I decided that even though I didn't want anyone to know how I felt, I needed to tell someone. I finally reached out to my mother. She was fighting breast cancer at this time, but she has always been so strong for my family, and she was able to fight off cancer. Even though her cancer treatment had taxed her strength, she listened to my fears and pain. One day, as my family sat at the dinner table, she started to share memories of my father with us. She told us the story of how they met in college during engineering class, how they loved to play tennis together, and she also told me about the surprise party she threw for him on his 30th birthday. She also told us that our father is always with us, just not in the same way that other kids' dads were. He was in our heart. That night, I felt him with me when I was going to bed, that physical longing and pain replaced by a sense of his presence in my heart, my mind full of the stories that my mom had shared with us. That was all I needed. I felt free from the heavy burden I'd been carrying for so long. My mom also suggested I write a note to him. I know he couldn't physically receive it, tearing open the envelope and reading my words, but I believed he received it somehow. In the note, I shared all about myself and told him that my love for him would never stop. In the lesson that Alex read, it says, "For love is as strong as death." This describes the love that I share with my father. Our love for each other is unbreakable, and even death can't take him away from me. Humans have always wondered, what happens to us when we die? And the Bible gives us this answer over and over again, that no matter what, we remain connected to each other through our love. Even though my father will never be able to hug me or kiss me on the cheek, he will always be with me. I still wish he was around to do the dad things with me, like teach me how to play baseball, take me to get donuts on the weekends, and play games with me when I am bored. But now I am grateful for the awareness that he is in my heart. As a little girl, I suffered terribly with my secret grief but thanks to my mom's wisdom, I learned how to cope with loss. When my grandfather died a few years back, I handled it in a much healthier way. Being able to cope with loss can feel impossible, but we have to find a way through so that it doesn't steal our joy and gratitude for life. Even though my exact way of coping with death may not be your way, it can give you hope. I promise you too can find a way to deal with your feelings and feel joy again. Confiding in people like a therapist, a sibling, a teacher, or a parent can help a lot. Even though death can take us to a dark place, we can eventually find the light and feel our loved one's presence in our heart in a new way. Thank you.